What message is the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops sending with its new leadership? Last week, the USCCB held elections to choose a new president, vice president, secretary, and various committee positions. Archbishop Paul Coakley of Oklahoma City was elected as the new president from the group of 10 nominees. Then Bishop Daniel Flores of Brownsville, Texas was elected as vice president, and Bishop Kevin Rhodes of Fort Wayne, South Bend was elected as secretary. So let's take a look at this newly elected group and then see who's celebrating and who's melting down about it on Twitter. So Archbishop Coakley started his career off in Maryland. He was later appointed the Bishop of Salina, Kansas, and then the Archbishop of Oklahoma City. His episcopal motto is Duc in Altum, Latin for put out into the deep. He chose this when he became a bishop, emphasizing mission, trust, stepping into deeper waters. Theologically, he has been a steady, even-handed, center-traditional prelate. He's been strongly pro-life, has opposed the death penalty in Oklahoma, and has condemned radical gender ideology. Like many other bishops, he has called for more humane treatment of migrants, but it's also been clear that the United States has the right to a secure border. So what is the USCCB trying to say with the election of Archbishop Coakley? To me, it seems like it's a message of independence. See, Pope Leo XIV would not have chosen Coakley. So the bishops are saying, okay, we want a guy that isn't a bomb thrower, that isn't only focused on immigration, but is well-rounded and primarily focused on saving souls. This is the right thing for the bishops' conference. They need to be seen as less political and more focused on helping the faithful to build relationships with Christ. Now, if the bishops did want to do the bidding of Pope Leo, they would likely have elected Bishop Flores, who is the new vice president of the USCCB. Flores is the Bishop of Brownsville, Texas, which is a border diocese. That is likely more personally affected by mass migration than other places around the country. And his rhetoric on the matter is on the extreme end. He said that support for mass deportations is, quote, form of cooperation with an intrinsic evil, likening it to driving someone to an abortion clinic. Now, this language matches the intensity of Pope Leo XIV, who has made it a huge priority to address immigration in the USA. Since Flores was the second-place vote-getter in the election for president, it's clear that a good chunk of bishops wanted him to lead the USCCB. This would have positioned the group as in tandem with the Pope, a good narrative for the media as well. However, that's not what happened. The majority of the bishops chose another option, one that still shows compassion for illegal immigrants, but doesn't necessarily make it their singular focus, and with less intense language. I think this is the bishops saying, we all want dignity for migrants in the USA, but we have a whole host of other issues that are huge on the priority list, such as fighting abortion legislation and the ever-encroaching threat of euthanasia. Some other points of interest in the USCCB election include Robert Barron getting a handful of votes on the first ballot, but overall not a whole lot of support for him to lead the organization. Then Archbishop Weisenberger of Detroit, who falls into the Pope Francis, Bishop Michael Martin, Cardinal Blaise Cupich camp, was one of the bottom vote-getters. I found this to be one of the more curious pieces of info as to where the majority of bishops stand. Okay, so as always, I wanted to talk about a great company called Real Estate for Life. The housing market is a little rough out there, but if you are blessed enough to be able to buy a home, I recommend using Real Estate for Life. They have 1,400 agents around the country that can help you to buy and sell a home with a Catholic perspective in mind. Additionally, Real Estate for Life gives a portion of every sale to a pro-life charity. So you get a realtor that gets your spiritual needs, you get to help a pro-life company, and a portion of the proceeds go to saving the unborn. So if you need to buy a house or sell a house or know anybody that does, follow the link in my description to the Real Estate for Life website and make sure to say that Purely Catholic sent you. Okay, now let's take a look at what Catholic Twitter had to say on this matter. Let's just say the opinions are split. The National Catholic Reporter tweeted, "The vote for a new president of the U.S. Bishops' Conference was close and deeply disappointing. In choosing Archbishop Paul Coakley, the bishops had to overlook the disrespect he demonstrated toward Pope Francis." Okay, so their statement hits on an issue that has been consistently brought up by the modernist Catholics on Twitter. In 2018, Archbishop Vigano would accuse Pope Francis of covering up the horrific crimes of Theodore McCarrick. Archbishop Coakley publicly expressed deepest respect for Archbishop Vigano after he made these accusations against the Pope. The National Catholic Reporter would go on to say that Archbishop Coakley is too far to the right in order to unite the church. They even said that Cardinal Robert McElroy, despite really liking him, shouldn't lead the USCCB because he's too far to the left and would sow further division. Okay, Michael Matt tweeted, "I guess I'm a bit late to this party, but I just figured everyone remembers. The new USCCB president, Archbishop Paul Coakley, was a student of the late, great Dr. John Sr. He's not perfect, but His Excellency knows what's up. Pray for him." So Dr. John Sr. was a Catholic author and teacher who is best known for co-founding the famous Integrated Humanities program at the University of Kansas. They read great books, memorized poetry, and embraced our traditional Catholic history. As a result of his inspiring and orthodox teaching, over 200 students eventually converted to Catholicism. Many went on to become priests, monks, nuns, and Catholic leaders. Speaking at Thomas Aquinas College, Coakley credited the Integrated Humanities program with being an incredibly effective program that was the foundation of his conversion and formation. Okay, Brent Bovington tweeted, "I don't know that much about Archbishop Coakley, but it seems like there are a lot of high-quality bishops in the Great Plains region of the United States." Now, this is an absolute fact. Remember the whole debacle from the other month when Cardinal Cupich tried giving a diocesan award to Dick Durbin? Well, quite a few bishops spoke out publicly, and the Midwest/Great Plains bishops were overrepresented in this bunch. We heard from Bishop Paprocki of Springfield, Illinois, Bishop Conley of Lincoln, Nebraska, Bishop Olson of Fort Worth, Texas, Bishop Kemi of Wichita, Kansas, Archbishop Naumann of Kansas City, and Bishop Johnson of Kansas City, St. Joseph. It must have been 85% of bishops that denounced this award were from the Great Plains region, and it's no surprise that priestly vocations have been surging in these areas. Okay, here's a simple tweet. Allison Scott tweeted, "Dare we hope." I think this has been a common sentiment for Catholics with a more traditional style. We're just so used to taking L's at this point in time that it's surprising when something happens that feels traditional or orthodox with a small o. So when Archbishop Coakley got elected as president, I think a lot of us were like, wait, but he's in good standing with the trad Catholic world. How can this be possible? Dare we hope that something looks promising? Maybe other things are possible too. The loosening of Latin Mass restrictions, a more reverent Novus Ordo, beautiful churches with altar rails, and the full embrace of our 2,000-year history. So let me know in the comments, will Archbishop Coakley steer the USCCB in a new direction? Were the bishops sending a message with his election? And does any of it even matter at all? Thanks for watching.